Hello, everybody. My name is Marissa Robinson, and today I'm going to be walking and talking you guys through my project Creative 2. So, firstly, what I learned in my further exploration of creativity is that it really leans on convergent and divergent thinking. And in Creativity Rising, it talks about how what comes from your creative mind is affected by the things around you, like the people you surround yourself with, your thinking processes, and your environment, and as well as your ambiguity tolerance and your complexity tolerance affect our creative thinking patterns. So the ambiguity tolerance is going to be if you can thrive in situations without having clear directions, and then the complexity tolerance is basically being able to balance opposing viewpoints and large amounts of info and being able to make something creative out of that. After reading through the myths in the Creativity Rising chapter, I would say the one that surprised me the most was that creativity cannot be taught. Unfortunately, I had the perspective that creativity was naturally just more present in certain people, not that it could necessarily be taught to you. And I thought it was really interesting that the book mentioned a poll that said 53% of people thought that creativity is that something people like are born with. And when I read that, it was surprising to me, but at the same time it wasn't, because unfortunately I thought this way and I realized that I believed this myth, and reading the book really opened a different perspective for me about creativity and how it presents itself in people. So, as we've learned so far in this class, creativity is important everywhere, especially in businesses. It drives innovation, which allows your business to stay competitive in their market, develop new products, just generate new ideas. So, one example of this is when members of a company use these creative problem solving techniques that we've talked about. Mentioned in Arizona State University article, they can create ideas that will set their business apart and ahead from others. Another example is talked about in a Walsh University article, and it basically talks about how creativity can lead your team or yourself individually to ask more questions, which can really help your cognitive thinking skills and allow you to develop ideas that deviate from what we would call norms and ideas that everybody else is thinking about. But yeah, creativity is everywhere, especially in business, and it's really important for your business to thrive. So, some common approaches to creative thinking are first brainstorming. I'm sure everybody knows what brainstorming is. It basically just helps develop the divergent thinking process, and a lot of people think that when you brainstorm, you should just sit alone and think about different ideas and try to come up with new ideas. But actually, in Creativity Rising, it says that brainstorming with others is actually a great way to generate new and different ideas, because having other people's opinions and perspectives around you can open your eyes to different pathways of creativity. And yeah, being with what they call a resource group can really help with brainstorming and coming up with creative ideas. The other approach to creative thinking that I found was mind mapping, which is basically breaking down a large idea into smaller components, and that really allows you to take a deeper look at each part and gain a better understanding and possibly generating new ideas from those parts. Um, Unlike brainstorming, mind maps are built around a large topic and focus on little keywords. And I read about this on a website called mindmaps.com. So, an example of the creative process in the real world is Airbnb, a company I'm sure we all know. It began as a really small company in either 2008 or 2009, where people would just rent out rooms in their house to travelers. And it was really small, but because of the Airbnb owners using creativity to their advantage, it's now a globally known company. I've used it several times. A lot of people have used it several times. I honestly don't think I know a person that hasn't used Airbnb. And some factors that influenced this creation and development of this company were one, the economy, and another factor is the growth of digital platforms throughout time. Everything is digital nowadays, so that really helps Airbnb gain more customers, and as well as the shift of consumer travel preferences. People don't want to go to traditional hotels anymore. They want to travel places and have a more authentic experience that they won't be able to find staying in a hotel. The hospitality industry was really affected by Airbnb. A lot of people would argue in a negative way because it took a lot of customers away from hotels, but the hospitality industry overall, I think, was impacted in a positive way from Airbnb's popularity, as well as people who now had the chance to become entrepreneurs themselves and be able to turn their homes into businesses, which this article that I found on LinkedIn talks about Airbnb and its development and all of these changes and factors that led to its success today.